Today I'm taking a look at the LifeBasis stud finder. We got a nice clamshell case, and here is the stud finder. Very nice. So I can say I like about this one right now is it actually has a display directly on it. We don't have to pair this with our phone or anything like that. All of the components are right here. So there's a very soft plastic shell on it, and it's almost a rubber. We've got our optics right there on the top. It looks like we've got a light. That's nice. So we got that switch right there on the side. We got two USB-C ports right there on the side. This is actually nice. So it actually has a foam padding on the back. So that way when you're rubbing it on the wall, you don't have to worry about this thing scratching anything up. We also have a 1/4-20 mount there. So if we want to mount this, we can do that. Well, that's cool. So we've got our probe right there in the bottom. So this is just to eject it. And then we can spin that guy around and plug it back in, and we got our pins. That is a very neat design. So in the case, we also have our charging cable, that is USB-A to USB-C, and we got our thermal imaging camera. And we got our instructions, and that is in full color.
Distance, measure.
So we got distance, we can scan for metal, scan for wood, scan for AC.
Scanning for, horizontal, measure, laser, line, moisture, measure, function, menu.
Okay, so we got metric and we got feet. We got sound. I'm going to turn that off, auto off, so we can have this thing go to sleep. Time and date doesn't really matter for me. I'm going to put this on feet. So we'll go to distance and we'll do a single measure. We got a laser right here, and then we got a receiver right there. So this is going to tell us how far we are away from something. And we can see we actually got our laser right there, so we know exactly what we're going to be measuring off of. All right, so we got 9 3/4 inches. So let's go back. We have constant measure. So this is just going to be updating as we move it further and closer. It's kind of neat. Addition measure. So we'll start out by measuring this wall, and then we will measure this wall. But we can see it adds everything together, so we don't have to do that manually. Very nice. Subtraction. So I can measure the distance to a wall and to a close object. All right, so it had negative. That's interesting. So this is actually a touch screen as well. That's cool. So I was hitting this button, apparently I didn't even have to. So we can also see on here we got an icon. So right now it's going to be measuring from the face. Here it's going to be measuring from the rear. So if I want to butt that up against a wall and find out what the distance is, including the total length of this module, we can do that. And we can find the distance halfway up. Area measure. We'll say I'm going to measure to this wall and then to this wall. So 13 feet, 8 inches and 15/16 times 1 foot, 10 inches and 3/16 is 25.41 square feet. Volumetric measures. So we'll do the same thing, except it's going to be this wall, and then this wall, and then up to the ceiling. There we go. So that is cubic feet. And we got Pythagorean theorem. So, same thing, but we're going to measure this wall, then we'll measure this wall, and that is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the length, 13 feet, 7 7/8. And then we got double Pythagorean, so we're going to find the measurement of the green. First, we're going to get the diagonal. Then we'll get straight across, and then we'll get the other diagonal. So now we know the length of that line is 2 feet, 4 inches. It's very handy to have. So let's scan for a stud. Cool. So I know right in this area we definitely got a stud, which makes sense because I've got this screwed into a stud right now. Cool. All right. Scan for metal. I don't think we're going to find anything, but okay, good. So it is seeing AC right there, which is important because I do have a power line going up the wall right here to a security camera outside. So that is good that this can also scan for power. And let's do scanning for AC. So this is going to check for power. Right here we can see we got sensitivity high. Change that to medium or low. So I need to drop our probe and drop that in. Cool. We can see that is flashing red, so we know we got power there. Neat. It's not able to detect it on the line, but if we set the sensitivity to high, now we can. Very cool. Let's check horizontal measure. So all this is going to do is essentially it's going to turn itself into a bubble level. So you can see that little dot in the middle. That's going to let us know if we are currently flat. We got a laser line. So there's that laser line, and then we got that same little bubble level right there. But this is going to let us know when we are flat and straight and level. So a lot like a laser level, we just need to make sure that we have this set by hand, and then we'll know that what this is projecting on the wall is going to be straight. And that has a very fine measurement on it. You can see how fast those numbers are updating. That is very impressive. Because we got a 1/4-20 mount on the bottom, we can throw this thing on a tripod. You get this guy running perfectly straight, and we'll know that that line will be straight. And then moisture meter. Go ahead and eject that. And let's check the measure of me. So it's trying to find wood, so this is not going to be accurate, but this is reading at 24.2%, so we know that that is at least reading something. So let's see what happens when we plug the thermal camera in. Okay, we got a third dot now, and thermal. Okay. That is neat. So not super high resolution, but doesn't really matter. You can still see what you need to see with this guy. That is a lot of functionality packed into one little guy. And the fact that it works at all is kind of impressive. So you can see that little crosshair in the center. That is going to tell us what the temperature is of anything we put in that area. So my hand is currently at around 34.2 degrees Celsius. And that plate is 21.8. So yeah, if you're looking for a tool that has a whole lot of functionality, that is a very interesting tool.